Hey there, I am Heidi Powell, and you have made it to Heidi's Lane. I am a mom of 4 beautiful kids, a health enthusiast, and an entrepreneur who, just like everybody else, is learning to navigate the joys, the grief, the love, the messes, and everything in between on this beautiful highway we call life. Now, nothing is off the table here in my lane, so I invite you to cozy up, grab a cup of coffee, join me right here on my couch for real, raw, vulnerable conversation that hopefully helps you learn and grow through this journey with me. I am so grateful you are here. Welcome to Heidi's Lane. All right, guys, today's episode is for any woman, anyone listening right now, who you could be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, doesn't even matter, but you've looked in the mirror, had that moment where you have a look at yourself and you're like, what the heck is going on? I don't even recognize myself. I have this stubborn belly fat. I can't lose weight. I have no energy. I look exhausted. All of these cravings and things are coming from out of nowhere. And we're all probably going through this thing called perimenopause or menopause or something hormonal. To be a woman is hard. I know this because I am one. And so I figured today, I didn't want a man on the podcast to answer your questions. I've gotten so many questions from you guys, literally hundreds, if not thousands, on this topic. I thought it would be most appropriate to bring in a woman who can see us and help us understand what's happening in our bodies and really help us understand what we can do about this crazy thing called transition that we are going through or will inevitably go through in our lives. So I brought on Lauren from NuLevel Wellness. She is a nurse practitioner and an amazing provider who works with me and has worked with many, many clients that I've sent her direction. Lauren, I'm so happy to have you on. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to say again, because fun fact, Lauren and I already recorded a podcast. When was that? Like a month and a half ago?
Like a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, the podcast was supposed to go out next week, like, you know, from the day that we're recording this, like the next podcast out. And it was an amazing podcast. We talked about all the things. I have a list of your guys' questions that we went through, so many of them, so many. And then I went to load the podcast into my editor and my mic was perfect. Could hear every word I was saying. And I went to hers and it was literally like nothing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is there a way I could like salvage it? I tried to like have them pull the audio from my mic with you talking, but you saw in testing, if the mic's too far away, it just stops, you know? So yeah, it was just me. It was a Heidi only episode. So here we are, we're back again. And I hope we cover all the same stuff. It's going to be totally different and it's going to be exactly what it needs to be. I'm so excited though that you're here and
excited to be here.
Yeah. So, and one of the things I think I mentioned, I said, I work with you and also I've sent many people to you. I want to be specific in that the people I've sent to you are almost all women.
Yes. Yeah.
And what would you say like some of their issues are as they come to you?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for being such an advocate for women. And because we need a lot more of that, especially on social media, influencing women, especially women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah.
But women who are coming to me, they come with a plethora of symptoms. And it could be anything, but obviously we take into account age, we take into account a lot of people come and they say, I think something's wrong with my hormones.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay. Well,
That's
good that they're recognizing that now, because I know a lot of women that are like, something's wrong with me, you know, and they might not connect that it's hormones, but there's a lot more talk now. I like that they at least know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even a hormonal issue.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit last time. It's a diet issue and what they're doing with their body, because when your gut is not good, it recirculates the estrogen that should not be recirculating, which can play a role with your hormones, right?
Wow.
So yeah, it is the hormones indirectly, but it doesn't necessarily mean you need to be taking hormones, right? So we look into those things, and it's all about asking questions and just digging for, what's going on, exercising, how are you eating, mental health, how is that?
Mhm. So yeah, it's a very holistic thing. And I to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying when you said, thanks for being a stand or whatever. It is, I didn't realize how hard this stuff what how hard it is for a lot of women to talk about. And I do love that awareness is kind of being raised now on female health far more than it was before. I don't remember if I mentioned this to you before, but for me, like, well, we go through so many transitions as women,
Mhm.
right? Throughout our life. And I feel like when we're younger, um, I was prepared to have a period because it was talked about all the time. There was like education in school to like have a period, and I was really nervous about it. And still, when it happened, it was something that made me feel like something was wrong with me. It just because like your body is suddenly bleeding, and there is like an innate shame for a lot of women in transitioning from a child to a woman first of all, and then you kind of get used to it. But what's interesting is nobody, literally no one, my mom never talked about menopause.
Mhm.
No one around me ever talked about it. I would occasionally hear someone say, just wait until you go through menopause. Just wait till your hormones start
Yeah.
shifting. And it like was in one ear and out the other because I didn't have any context, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, and I say this because I know a lot of women listening have gone through or are going through the same thing. When my body started shifting, like with hormone fluctuations, came this really intense anxiety that I
Mhm.
never experienced before in my life. And I'm sure there were so external factors, diet, because food affects you different,
Mhm.
but all of these things happened. I genuinely thought I was dying. And I know a lot of women who went through the same thing when they're like,
Mhm.
I don't recognize who I am. My body
Mhm.
doesn't look the same. I don't feel the same.
Yeah.
And then,
And they're
yeah.
they're realizing it too.
Mhm.
So right now your kids are older.
Yeah.
They don't have as much need for
Mm-mm.
you as they once did. So at one point you were probably, putting that to the side for them. And now that they don't have as much need for you, you're realizing a little more about what's happening to your body and what's actually going on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. As you say that, I'm like, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Interestingly, all of these medical issues started coming up in a period of my life where someone had passed away. My ex boyfriend had passed away, like tragically. And I quit my work. And so, as you're saying, like I stopped it for a very long time. And I had more time with myself than I'd ever had before. And you're like nailing it. And I never thought about that, but I had more time to think of me. I
Mhm.
had more time to like feel my body where for the vast majority of my adult life, I was numbing with everything, whether it was
Mhm.
exercise or goals or
Right.
work. And so,
Go,
yeah,
go,
it could,
go.
yeah. So essentially, what you're saying is a woman could be slowing down in her career and noticing things, or
Mhm.
your kids are leaving the house
Right.
and we're like alone with our thoughts and
Mhm.
our worries and our fears.
And the feeling of your body, of your own body, right?
We're like feeling for the first
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it was, a battery of tests. A lot of people on this podcast, gosh, this mic keeps falling down.
And then I also wanted to touch on, so, how we don't talk to our parents about, or our
Yes.
moms about menopause.
Mhm.
That's one thing that people really should be talking to their mom about, because typically it happens around the same age
Okay.
as
Okay.
your mom went through.
So it's interesting. Yeah. And that's what as I've gone through this, it is a thing where, like, I remember at the beginning of my hormone shifting, I was having these, and this is something a lot of people asked about, these really intense, heavy periods that were like 2 weeks long. And then I'd have like 3 days off and then it would start again. And it was this thing. I remember calling my mom and I was like, I think something's wrong with me. And she's like, oh, mine did that too. And I'm like, why didn't you freaking tell me? Like so I tell my girls everything. I'm like, here's what's happening. Because, and then there's also this like weird stigma. I'm getting through, I'm working through it. Let me say that. But like the idea that I'm 43 years old and my hormones so low, my estrogen's lowering. I'm having to do vaginal estrogen right now, which we'll talk about. There's a part of me that's like, I'm fighting that voice that's like, "Oh, you're old and washed up," right? Which it's another transition point for women. It's like We go from child to having our period, becoming a woman, and then from like a fertile woman to, I'm going to
Mhm.
say, to a wise woman, because that's really what's happening.
Mhm.
But it's hard to accept because it's like a mortality reminder. It's like I'm, becoming an age that I cannot have babies if I wanted to. I mean, I probably could if I,
Yeah, but
could
it could
now,
be,
but
another great part of your life, a great chapter of your
mhm.
life, as long as you can, manage and optimize your hormone level, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a really big thing. Do women come to you saying the same, like saying those things?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
And I don't know if I told you the story last time. It didn't record, so I'll tell it again if maybe you're hearing it for the first time, but yeah, I remember when my everything was changing, and for me, I mean, this is not a real, like, I'm not proud, I don't love this, but it's just a thing, so I'm gonna say it. But, like, when your estrogen dips, I'm learning, and you actually helped me last time we were here, you got me on the cream vaginal estrogen, which, by the way, has been the biggest game changer.
Really?
Oh my
Good.
oh
Good.
my hell. I was doing the vaginal serum
Mhm.
before, but it was only, like, 3 times a week. No, like, the kind that what do you call it?
Intravaginally.
That you put out there, yeah. That and doing the protocol, which is, like, 4 units and then
Mhm.
2, I'm on 2 units right now.
Yeah. You gotta
It
prime
hit,
it.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's insane, but what happens, and you tell me if I'm wrong, well, tell us what happens when your estrogen dips.
So when your estrogen starts to fall, your vaginal wall is not as pliable or as there's not as much collagen
Yeah, the
basically there.
tissues,
The
like,
tissue gets friable is what we call it.
what, and that just means, like, thin and
Thin and painful intercourse can
yeah,
happen,
yeah.
right? And it's just not comfortable.
And, like, there's dryness. I
Mhm.
had someone, because 'cause we're creating a women's line for vaginal health. It's actually all health, but we're actually also attacking vaginal health.
Yeah.
We're doing a really amazing vaginal probiotic. I have to show you the
Nice. Yeah.
formulation.
Mhm.
Oh, it's so good. It's like it's one of the best. I'm not kidding. And then but, like, on the call, I was kinda talking about, like, vaginal dryness, like, I'm like, "We," and my partner, she was like, "Do you have a dry vagina or what?" And there's, like, men on the call. I'm like, "It's something I've struggled with, yes." It's a real thing.
Yeah.
But, like, the vaginal estrogen, from what you were telling me, it was like, within a couple weeks, there's more lubrication.
Mhm.
Fact, it actually works. And then within, like, basically it's repairing the tissues in there, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it's insane, you guys. I'm not kidding. And one of the things I've had a lot of, well, some of the questions that came in and people were saying was, they were talking about how their vaginal tissue, like, almost disintegrated and became smaller. And, like,
Mhm.
it fixes that too, not to give you guys a mental
Yeah.
image,
And
but
now, like we were talking about before, it's being applied to the face,
I
skin.
put it on today. I know I'm supposed to do it at night. I did the serum on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been doing it consistently?
No.
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 So
I
I don't know enough about it
yeah.
for topically on the skin, but I would like to see some results from some people before and afters.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
You know what, maybe I'll do then? Maybe I'll actually take a picture, because it's maybe once every 2 weeks, I remember. Maybe I'll do a picture and then, um, what do you, how often? Once a week or what,
I'm
or
not
more
sure when
often?
it comes to the face.
Okay.
I'm not,
Well,
I'm not
I'm
sure.
not a doctor, but I'm going to do it once a
I
week.
mean, I know definitely not every day
Yeah.
because it can thin a little bit
Oh,
too if
can it?
you're putting it in the same spot. Hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so that's, vaginal. We're talking about vaginal stuff, which I know a lot of you guys have an issue with, but I had gone to an OBGYN
Hmm.
and I was like, I don't know what's happening with me. Like, I have never had an issue. Never have I had an issue with libido my entire life. I've never had an issue with, lubrication. I never had an issue with, like, I was having heart palpitations.
Hmm.
I was getting anxiety. I was kind of telling her I was getting the most, it was like continuous. What's the right word? Yeast infections over and over and over. I'd continue to treat it with a pill, like the yeast
Hmm.
infection pill that you take. I was also getting bacterial vaginosis over and over.
Hmm.
And actually, I had asked the doctor, I said, what's happened? And she just kept giving me an antibiotic. And when I asked, she's like, it's just how it is. Sorry, you're old. And I'm like, I know. And so being told by a doctor that this is just like, actually, she said, welcome to being old.
Oh
And I
my
was
gosh.
40. I was 41 at
Oh.
the time. And I like, and I actually had asked her, I said, what about hormone replacement therapy? And she's like, that is just them. She said, those places are just stealing your money, is what she told. I literally never went
Gosh.
back to that OB ever again. And I left and I ended up calling every woman that I knew or voice memoing who was 40, 50, 60s and thriving and asked their opinion. And it was so good to get the reassurance of people who've been through it.
Mhm.
And also to kind of know, okay, this is just something I need to look into. I need to learn more about. And you guys, I tell you this story because you might be 30s, you might be 40s, you might be 50s, you might be going through that same thing right now. You also may have gone through it and you just accepted what a doctor or someone told you who didn't know. Cause I think you had mentioned to me, they're not taught that
Mhm. It's a
in
lot of
school.
things that they're not taught. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's something you had to continue
You have to
your
continue,
education.
exactly. Mhm.
Yeah. And I
There's
like,
no women's health specialty. Like, there's
and here we
no
are. So that's why we're
certification
doing
for
this.
it. There's
Yeah.
just, continual learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for what you do. And I'm grateful for all of the help that you've given me so far. I really am. And
Good.
just, I hope that we can kind of take some of my experience and your knowledge today and disseminate it to all of the women. You guys, there were so many questions. I wish I had the list of them. Uh, I summarized them here. Okay. So
So,
go ahead.
going back to
Yeah.
that issue that you had, was
Yeah.
that part of the reason why you came up with your own vaginal probiotic? Were you
Oh,
trying the
yeah.
vaginal
This is
probiotics
actually really good to
for the
talk about.
ultimate cure?
So this was a couple years. You also know I've had there's just so many things that have been happening with my body, right? And I really believe a lot of it is hormonal and just kind of what's going on. Um, when I was having those issues
Mhm.
vaginally, yes, I ended up having an endocrinologist sent me a vaginal swab kit, like a test. Have you
Mhm.
seen those?
Yeah.
They're really cool. And it essentially like tested the good bacteria to the bad. And she was explaining when your estrogen goes down and the microbiome, the environment is drier. It's like a breeding ground for bad
Mhm.
bacteria and the good can't actually grow. And so we did a swab. We were able to see the full panel of like what exists. And the more I was wiping it out with antibiotics, I
Mhm.
was killing the good and the bad. So the good could never populate. So at the time, I have it still. I was buying the there are I think people need to understand there's a different and you can tell this is my research with there's another doctor we have on board who's been so helpful. I actually want you to come on board and help us out with stuff too. But like there are certain strains of bacteria
Mhm.
that are for gut health and certain strains that are for vaginal health.
Mhm. Yeah.
Two totally different
Yeah.
microbiomes.
Absolutely.
And so and there's you guys, most things on the market right now, I don't want to burst your bubble, but like if you're taking a vaginal probiotic, whether it's a suppository or an ingestible, um, most of them are actually like when you actually look at the strains,
Mhm. Yeah.
they're gut or
I think there's
UTI.
about 3 or 4 of them that are for vaginal flora. I don't know.
L.
I
crispidus
Oh,
is
yeah.
what the
Mhm.
biggest. I know that
Mhm.
we're getting that in there.
Yeah.
We're actually, yeah, I'm so
One
excited.
that's L, something starts with an R.
Ruminous.
Mhm.
Yes, we have that one in there too.
And then I don't remember the other
Um,
one.
it is such a hard hitting, but yeah, I started doing the vaginal one because it was the only one my endocrinologist at the time could find that had the right strains in it.
Mhm.
And then she was like, gosh, I wish I could find an ingestible one that has these exact ones.
Mhm.
And after doing the suppository for a couple months and actually repopulating, completely changed my vaginal
Good.
flora. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was not getting bacteria BV. I was not getting yeast infections anymore. So just the health of it was getting better. I had just started that serum, which wasn't strong enough for me, I don't think. She ended up finding an ingestible one, but the average person today, the one that I like currently take while we're formulating this other, they have to get it through a doctor. They have to get it on full script or something. It's
Mm.
not one that like someone at home can buy. So I'm really, really excited because what we're creating is this. It's also Not just a probiotic, it's a prebiotic
Mhm.
and a postbiotic. So it's like a symbiotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's why I ended up creating it, that particular product. And then we're coming out with some other things too that support vaginal health, and then also things that support like exactly what we're talking about today,
Yeah.
like
That's awesome.
cortisol,
I'm excited
hormones.
for that because
I
I
need
have,
to have
like
a conversation with you about
there's
this.
2 of them that 2 brands that I have had patients on,
Yeah,
and it did still take a little
yeah,
while for them to get that flora back.
yeah. It takes a
And
while.
there's nothing out there. There's
Yeah.
that those 2 brands, and those were a struggle to find.
Oh, I'm so curious. We'll have to compare. I'll show
Mhm.
you the ones that I actually have both of them here. Um, yeah, but the suppository, especially because I'm doing estrogen,
Right. Yeah.
I don't love a suppository,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, it
The estrogen's easier for some reason than like a suppository.
yeah.
I don't know. TMI just but yeah, it really I wanted to be able to create with the people who've helped me along my journey and what the women are writing and saying that they want with like not just a brand that is a company. I
Mhm.
want it to feel like a place that women can go to get support and education. And I have my good friend, trainer Lindsay, who works with me. She actually has a huge coaching company that they coach women going through the same things, perimenopause, menopause. She's partnered up with me on it. So I'm really,
Nice.
I
Good.
know
That's
we
awesome.
need to like actually
Yeah.
talk about this. Okay. I think one of the biggest things that actually it is, it's definitely the biggest because I sent out in addition to the questions here, I sent out a survey to my community, my app community, and Lindsay had sent one out to hers. And we just said, hey, what are your biggest issues with aging and menopause? The number one message, the number one thing, and I get this every day, even in my DMs, is uh, it's like the weight shift, the weight gain. I can't lose weight. I have meno belly. It's that
Mhm.
like what when a woman comes to you and says that, I'm a trainer, obviously, but like as a medical professional, when a woman in her 40s, 50s comes to you and says, this, like my body's not
Mhm.
responding the way that it was before, where do you start with them?
So, obviously, depending on the age. So, in the 40s or when you're in perimenopause, when your estrogen goes down, insulin resistance, a little bit of
Mm.
insulin resistant happens.
Mhm.
Also, you will increase visceral fat by about 5 to
Can I ask real
10%.
quick? You said insulin resistance. For some people who don't even, they hear that a lot, but they might
Mhm.
not know what that is. Can you explain that to someone and
So,
how might they know if they have that?
mm, how will they know?
Well, you can just tell them what it
Blood
is
work.
first. Okay, yeah, blood work.
They'll know
Yeah.
by blood work. But basically, when you have sugar or glucose or a high starchy food, your insulin spikes, which is a hormone, and basically your insulin is supposed to work for you and drives the glucose into the cell for energy.
Mm.
And if your insulin is dysregulated and it's not properly driving that glucose to where we want it to go, then that glucose just lingers around, right?
Mm.
Wreaking havoc. But
High blood sugar, which can lead to
causing
diabetes.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so that's what kind of the basis of insulin resistance in
So
layman's
when someone
terms.
has that, you as a medical professional, how do you guide them?
Um, diet. And it
Right.
always
And so what
comes
if they
back
come
down
to
to
you and they
diet.
say, I want to get on GLP-1? Do you still first say, how's your diet?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So if somebody comes to me and let's say they do want to get on a GLP-1, if they've already, if they've been dieting and only getting in, let's say, 1,000 calories a day, probably not a good candidate for a GLP-1 because it
Because
is
they're
going
already
to
low calorie.
exactly. They've already reduced their caloric intake. Their metabolism is probably already a little bit slower. It's still possible to put them on a GLP-1, especially if they have that insulin resistance at a microdose,
Okay.
right? But they really have to be managed. How many calories are you getting in this week? How many calories are you getting in next month? Just kind of always have to be on them.
Yeah. So in that situation, I would expect that a woman would actually need to work with a coach to start reverse
Hmm.
dieting up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you've suppressed your metabolism, like that is really hard. As a trainer, when people come to me and they say, I've done everything, I'm working out so hard, I'm only eating 1,200 calories, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
Because that if that's true, which sometimes people say that because they don't want you to know what they're really eating, right?
Right.
Other times it's actually true and they've crashed
Right.
their metabolism. I want
Right.
you guys to know, like, it doesn't mean it can't be fixed. It's
Right.
totally doable, but it's a process.
Yes, and that's the good thing about tirzepatide and especially retatrutide.
Okay.
So with semaglutide, just the
Okay.
GLP-1 is what's causing the appetite suppression. And for people who are
I
overeating,
didn't know that.
the GLP-1 it in semaglutide, it's at a high dose
Okay.
compared to retatrutide where it's a triple peptide. That dose of GLP-1 that you're getting in that is nowhere near as strong as that semaglutide. So the GIP effect and that glucagon effect, those
Yeah.
receptors that the retatrutide is targeting, that's what's helping your insulin and glucose regulation and the anti-inflammation. That's what we want more of for those patients who are really low caloric intake.
Wow. Okay, that's so interesting. I actually didn't realize that, retatrutide and I knew that, I knew that semaglutide was a GLP-1.
Mhm.
I knew that tirzepatide was technically a GLP-2 because it's
Mhm.
two receptors, and then retatrutide was 3,
Mhm.
right? I did not know that retatrutide actually had less GLP-1.
Mhm.
Therefore, if you're someone who maybe struggles to be hungry,
Mhm.
that would probably be a better option
Right.
over the others so that you could
Right.
maintain hunger.
Yeah. It's still suppressing the appetite
Yeah.
somewhat, but not to the intensity of as the other ones.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So someone, when is insulin, I think you started to touch on this and I think we sidetracked, but insulin resistance for a lot of women shows up in their belly,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Why does that happen? Why does there suddenly a woman who may have had like thigh or,
It's more common for women to have subcutaneous fat. Men will have more so visceral fat, but like I said, in the 40s when your estrogen's
yeah.
plummeting, women will get higher visceral fat.
And can you explain to them what visceral fat is
So
versus
visceral is the
subcutaneous,
fat around your organs.
which is the
Which
dangerous
is the
fat?
dangerous fat, yes.
Yeah.
Subcutaneous is the aesthetic fat.
So, like, when we're younger, babies, what you see, like, that softer thing is, like, the subcutaneous, and then, the way that we always say it is someone with, like, an apple shape where it's, like, even when they have thinner skin,
Mhm.
their stomach is still
Mhm.
thicker. It's because there's that visceral fat
Mhm. Yeah.
inside of their organs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that when you guys do the GLP-1s, whatever it is, 2s, 3s, the retatrutide, tirzepatide, you guys I know are really big on making sure people get enough food and
Mhm.
enough protein.
Yes.
I know that that's a huge thing. And that's
Absolutely.
actually the only reason. That's one of
Yeah.
well, there's a lot of reasons.
Especially women,
Yeah.
because if you're not getting enough
Yeah.
protein, you're already lacking estrogen in your 40s.
Mm.
You're you're going to push yourself into osteoporosis. If you're not eating enough protein, you're already not getting enough estrogen either.
Mm.
So, protein, estrogen reduce osteoporosis risk.
Okay, I want you guys to make sure you hear that. If you're looking for a reason to get
Muscle
more
ultimately.
protein in, yeah,
Muscle
you need
ultimately.
muscle,
Yeah.
but like osteoporosis is a big deal. When people come to you on and they get on, this is off topic, but it's all the same related stuff. When they do tirzepatide or any of the
Mhm.
GLPs, 1, 2, 3s, whatever, how many grams of protein do you like suggest they eat a day? They aim for.
1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight,
I love it. You're like right
especially
in line.
for somebody who's
Yeah,
exercising. For somebody who's not exercising, which it's rare
yeah,
now with our patients because we really try to encourage it.
yeah,
But if they're not exercising, I'd say about point 0.8.
yeah.
Mhm.
I love that. Yeah, I aim, and it's guys, I do this for a living, and it's still hard for me to get my protein in. It just
Mhm.
is. I
But
aim
when
for
you put it this
120
way,
a
and this
day.
is what I say to
Yeah,
patients. Okay, so for somebody who's 125, ideal body weight,
yeah.
125 pounds, 125 grams of protein, that's only 500 calories.
Isn't that nuts?
And the rest of your calories are coming from your
Carbs and
fats
fat.
and your
Yeah.
carbs, right?
So you can still have the foods that you love
Yeah.
in moderation, right?
Mhm.
It's actually so much food. I think sometimes people think like when they go on, I don't even want to say a diet, but when they eat healthier, they're like, "Oh, I'm just not going to get enough." No, to get 2,000 calories a day of like real whole natural foods
Yeah.
is actually really hard when you think about it.
Yes.
That's why I mean, I get most of my proteins from solid sources every day, but I would not even close to hit my numbers if I didn't do 2 shakes a day.
Mhm.
Like whether it's
Yeah.
clear protein or a meal replacement shake or something, because even that 2 is 40 grams. I still have 80 grams of protein to hit,
Yeah.
which is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss anything on this topic that I wanted to get into. I mean, I think this is an important one too, because this is that person that you mentioned coming to you, and people had said this, uh, who's only eating 1,000 calories a day. So when they come to you and they say, "My body's not responding anymore," and they've
Mhm.
like, or they just say, "My body's not responding," what do you have them do?
Increase their foods, first of all.
Yep.
And depending on how much weight they've gained or how long it's been going on for,
Yeah.
what other symptoms are happening. Explain to me your diet, explain to me your exercise. When's the last time you had blood work done? Usually with the first visit, I'll get their blood work.
Because that
If
is so
we
important.
if we need to do, a GLP-1 or
Yep.
a tirzepatide or retatrutide, I don't usually prescribe the semaglutide. But with the other two, if we do that, then it gives us, time, gives them time to build their diet up.
Mhm.
And what's nice is at least they don't have the food noise. They can focus
Yeah.
on just nourishing their body without all the cravings. That's the nice thing
Yeah.
about it. And then we wait for their blood work to come back. And by that point, sometimes we don't even need hormones because
Really.
they feel better because their gut health is better. They're not eating whatever 1,000 calories they were eating with, hamburgers and
Mhm.
whatever crap they were having. Their gut health is much better after being on, retatrutide or tirzepatide because they're eating to
Better.
nourish their
Yeah.
body.
Okay, that's really interesting. Do you see someone might come to you with whacked out hormones, everything, right? And then you get them started on a healthier lifestyle, maybe
Mhm.
with the assistance of a GLP-1 or 2, with a tirzepatide. Do you see that over a couple month period, their hormones actually stabilize
Mhm.
once
Yep. Yeah.
they're sleeping? Because all of
Mhm.
the things probably
Yeah,
shift.
absolutely, because if there is some gut dysbiosis in the beginning,
What's that mean? Gut
when
dysbiosis.
your gut microbiome is kind of like in disarray,
Yeah. Okay.
it's not working for you, you're constipated or you're
Mm,
once we get that back in order with the healthy foods and fiber is so important for estrogen metabolism.
mm.
So if you're not getting those in, like I was saying earlier, your estrogen is going to recirculate in all the wrong ways. And that can cause some of the symptoms that people feel.
What was the other thing? You said fiber, not enough fiber has estrogen circulating in the wrong
Hmm.
ways. What was the other thing you said earlier that has
Um,
estrogen not circulating properly? There was something else. Dang
there's
it.
so many things.
I'm
There's so many
43, my
things.
brain.
Like if you don't have enough antioxidants in you, glutathione is excellent for
Well,
um,
there, yeah,
the
there's
pathways.
something we said. It's okay. But
Yeah.
I actually think that's really important for women to hear.
Because if they're let's say their hormones are a wreck
Yeah.
and they are eating bad, we don't want to pile on hormones that are not going to properly leave the body to
Yeah.
either or
Yeah.
metabolize.
Well, I have no idea. I'm not a doctor, but like, is that because you hear when women have too high of estrogen,
Hmm.
it can lead to cancer only if it's not metabolized properly,
Right.
right? So,
There's certain pathways that it can go down.
okay,
So yeah, you can have high estrogen for a very long time and not
and be
have
okay.
and be fine. It just depends on how your pathways are working
Which is why it's important to
and
get your
genetics.
fiber in,
Hmm.
right? So you can help
Yeah.
metabolize it properly.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That actually shines a light on why I was on DIM for a while.
Hmm.
I think some women listening, maybe you've tried DIM or heard of DIM because my estrogen, I did a Dutch test. The Dutch test gives it like is the most comprehensive
Hmm.
hormone panel test you can do. You like pee on for days
That's
on
good.
like sticks or whatever. And then they kind of like track your cortisol, everything. My estrogen was sky high, probably because I was like that perimenopause, where your hormones
Hmm.
freak out and they go up and uh they were sky high, but predominantly the estrogen, I think it was estriol,
Mhm.
which is the one that then divides into 3 different I don't know. But it's okay
Or
if it's
estrone.
high. Maybe that's what it is.
Estrone.
Yes,
Yeah.
estrone. Which it's okay if it's high as long as it's metabolizing or methylating properly. And
Mhm.
mine was not. So my pathways were showing blocked.
Mhm.
So they put me on DIM, which they said is like almost like a fiber, which helps metabolize. However, I was put on DIM at a time where my hormones were about to start dipping. And so it just
Mm.
metabolized
Yeah.
the crap out of them. And I was having hot flashes 8 months later.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah, just
so
throw in
DIM is kind of, yeah.
some broccoli, some kale, some cruciferous veggies, that's your
Okay.
dim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Eat better.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Eat better. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about. Oh, well, this is okay, we're going to do this one because this is a lot of women say that during this phase of their lives, um, it's interesting because I've always heard this in the line of work that I've been in, transformation, but it's the they say once the kids go to bed, like at this like perimenopause age, their cravings are like out of control. Is that normal that when you hit this time of your life, cravings go out of control? Or is this probably just
There's probably, multiple things that are happening. So, one, a lot of the time, people are doing great on their diet in the day, but they're not getting enough food in.
Mm,
So, by the end of the day, especially women, they have more of a need than men when it
okay.
comes to glucose.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, they're ravaging and they really want they want
Yeah.
they want that sugar.
They're like in the red zone
Mhm.
and their kids are in bed. So
Yeah.
I like when I read this person's comment, I was like, gosh, I wonder if for them, it's more of you are busy all day with your kids and it's almost like an emotional release. Like when you're sitting down watching TV, because that's what can happen regardless of what phase of life
Yeah.
you're in.
But also hormones can shift that insulin, glucose
Okay.
regulation can
Okay.
feel like you want a little bit more glucose. Mhm.
And I know when Chris was on, Chris Morris, who is also with New Level, you guys loved his episode. Um, he had talked about how, and I loved this, and the response has been overwhelming from people. The same, they say that the terzepatide has just totally got rid of food noise for
Mhm.
them. So if someone is in the place in their life where they're having these huge cravings, all of
Mhm.
a sudden, are they a good candidate for
Mhm. Yep.
terzepatide? By the way, you guys, I can hear the question in your head saying, okay, how can I, if you guys want, I'll put a link in the show notes to New Level. They do a totally free, um,
Weight
telehealth.
loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weight
Like you
loss.
actually will get on the phone, or I don't know if it's a phone or a Zoom, but with Lauren or one of their providers. And then they will, if you just tell them that you heard it from this podcast, they'll give you $100 off. But you do have to say you came from the podcast or they're not going to give it to you. But yeah,
Mhm.
I love that. I love that you guys do a free telehealth because a lot
Yeah.
of places charge up front for that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So anyway, okay, so that takes care of that question. This one, um, I mean, there were so many questions about mood, energy, libido, like what the heck happened, And so for someone that's coming to you and saying like those things, mood, energy, libido,
Mhm.
what do you tell them? How do you help them?
So usually with the mood and energy and libido, those are a concoction for hormones. Those are especially
So
libido.
okay, I was gonna say,
It-
okay, let's talk about libido then. Let's
Dysregulation.
start with libido.
So libido, that's where the testosterone and estrogen
That
usually
was such a
will play a
freaking
role.
bummer for me when like my libido
Oh,
changed.
yeah.
Okay, go
But of
ahead.
course it could be mentally too, right?
Yeah,
Person you're with or a person, could be many things.
which
But
is what
again,
every
that's why all
doctor
the
says.
questions got to
Yeah,
be asked
yeah,
and blood work needs to be done.
yeah. Okay, so let's troubleshoot me. Can we do this right now?
So what
I love the person I'm with. I have zero, like he's the most incredible. I'm so safe, so comfortable. It's actually drive is better than it was in a previous relationship for me.
Mhm.
So, and it's the safety, right?
Right.
He's very, very much a safe person. Um, I'm on testosterone cream.
Mhm. So
My test is at like 90.
were one of the reasons originally because of that vaginal dryness.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's what it is. Because just recently I'm like, it's back. But it was like literally the
Yeah.
last week or two. I was
Just
so,
not comfortable
but
to do
that
it.
has to be it,
Right.
huh?
Mhm.
And I actually remember telling him, I said, there's something in my head that is like, if I compare vaginal dryness to a men's equivalent of erectile dysfunction. Whether it's the same thing or not, it feels the
Yeah.
same in my
I
head.
think that's
It yeah.
that's
And like
mentally that's comparable.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think like, people can say or men will be like, "Oh, just lube it up." Not the same. It's just not. It doesn't feel like it feels like my body's broken sometimes. And and so yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
the vaginal estrogen. Because really, if that's fixed, if the hormones are fixed, if I like feel safe, I
Mhm.
should be fine, right?
And so when we looked at your testosterone,
Yeah.
it was good. It was good. I think it was, what was it? Because you're doing the cream, right?
Cream, it was like 90 or 89.
70 or somewhere between 70 and 90
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
So there is room to go up a little bit with that. We can
Yeah.
try going up and hit, 120, 130.
Which I know is safe. I get nervous about because my DHT levels
Oh, that's
are
right. Yeah.
still a little bit high. I did
Mhm.
start some for women hair loss. That's another thing you guys wrote in about, right? Because when women go on testosterone,
Mhm.
sometimes if their body is creating more DHT,
Yeah,
right?
so some women are just more predisposed to aromatizing
Okay.
into that DHT. And even if the DHT level is normal,
Yeah.
if you have a predisposition or a family,
Mhm.
if you have male pattern baldness in the family,
Yeah, my dad was
you're
bald.
most likely going to have that
Yeah.
predisposition and likely to going to have that little hair loss from testosterone.
Yeah, I started taking saw palmetto and
Mhm.
African pygeum because in addition to my the Nutrafol DHT
Mhm.
blocker that I get from NuLevel,
Mhm.
um, I added saw palmetto and African pygeum. I don't
Mhm.
I was told by my actual therapist to do that. And then
Mhm.
also an endocrinologist had told me the same thing. So I'm like, okay, two people say it, I'm doing it.
Mhm. Good. How long have you been on it?
Um, literally like a week and a half,
Okay.
2 weeks.
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
How much were you losing? Was it just
Interestingly, I don't think I've been losing that much lately. I was losing a lot the last prior to so this last year, I feel like my hair has been better, 8,
Mhm.
9 months. And which is crazy that the DHT showed high,
Mhm.
but I was like, oh man, I better get on it because I know I have the ability to lose hair. I had been doing for the hair loss, I'd been doing what it's they go and they microneedle and then they do exosomes. I was doing
Yeah.
exosome therapy and
Mhm.
I did 4 in a row that I
Yeah.
really felt had helped.
Mhm.
So I think I'm lucky that I'm glad that I'm catching the DHT thing now and
Mhm.
doing something about it because I feel like it could be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you more stressed last year?
Oh,
Yeah.
insanely.
That played a huge role.
Insanely stressed.
Yeah.
And I do believe I mean, some people listening will be like, it's always her relationships. But relationships are such a huge part of our life. Like the person that you're
Mhm.
choosing to spend time with is impacting you in so many ways. And so I am in the safest, most amazing, incredible relationship I've ever been in my entire life. And I feel like there's healing that is happening for me on so many levels, not just
Good.
emotionally. No, he's so
I
good.
love
You haven't
that.
met him yet, have you?
Mm-mm.
No.
That
He's so
sounds
great.
nice.
He's actually really great. Okay, let's see. Where do we want to go now? Let's talk about so we talked about libido. I want to talk about exhaustion. Energy, I would actually say underneath, like we had a graph. Most people, it was like weight loss was a thing, right? With menopause and perimenopause. The next thing is exhaustion, mental fogginess, and
Mhm.
forgetfulness. Like
Yes.
what can a woman do? Are there specific, maybe even peptides for this kind of a thing?
Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, wait, hold on. You gave me oxytocin. Let's talk about
Yeah.
libido.
Oh, yeah.
Best thing
So it
ever.
worked?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
It was amazing.
Good. Okay, so there was some oxytocin in the cream too.
I did the cream.
Okay.
Wait, did you give me a pill?
I thought we did the injectable. Oh, no, we didn't do the injectable
No, I
too.
did the
We
cream.
did the
I have
cream.
the cream.
Okay.
And you had given me 2 different
Didn't we do the
things,
injectable too?
maybe, but I had told you I was gonna use one of them for a
Yeah.
full month because with the cycle,
Mhm.
like
So the cream that had
you guys, it's
L-arginine
insane.
in it, oxytocin. What else? There was something else in it.
It
Nitric oxide or
It
something
was
like that.
really neat. It was so
Good.
good. Okay, so ladies, ask about the oxytocin cream if libido is an issue for you.
Mhm.
It's like a little pre-workout for your lady parts.
That's awesome.
Just prep some. Okay, so now that away from libido. Well, can I ask, are there peptides that someone could take if libido is an issue, or do you just
Yeah.
is it just that what
So there is the oxytocin peptide. That's an
that what?
injectable
Oh,
form
okay,
as well. And then PT141.
okay,
I do. So PT141 you can take male and female. It is actually indicated for women. It's FDA approved for women.
okay.
Um, I would say about 60% of people it does help, but
Mm.
then there's that other, percentage that didn't find
Doesn't
it
notice,
very
yeah.
beneficial.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay,
So it's kind of hit or miss. It really,
okay,
really works for you or it doesn't.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll move away from the vaginal health and the sex stuff right now. Let's go to the fatigue. Let's go to fatigue and the people saying that the body, like the just exhaustion. I mean, and I do know that that's a very real thing. I was saying underneath weight loss and metabolic issues, the next largest group of women or next largest issue was energy
hmm
and exhaustion. So
Yeah.
what can
So
someone do about that?
sleep, as we age, we all know sleep is a little bit more of an issue as we age.
Yeah.
So stress, obviously, when we're waking up in the middle of the night just with racing thoughts. So
Yeah.
sleep is a huge player.
Does hormones play into that? Is there
Yeah,
something happening?
absolutely. So estrogen, right?
Okay.
Estrogen and
Damn
progesterone. When there's an
estrogen.
imbalance and you're up at night sweating, right? You're
Yeah.
having those hot flashes. Usually it's at bedtime,
Mm.
keeping you up. So that'll play a huge role too with the exhaustion. When it comes to the memory, the brain fog, so that's another thing with testosterone. There's most of your testosterone receptors are in the area of your brain where memory is involved.
Mm.
So when you're declining in that testosterone, that's why when we replace that testosterone, you have a little bit more improvement with that energy, but also the brain fog too,
That's really
memory.
interesting
hmm
because I felt insanely mentally gone to where hypochondriac Heidi. I was going to like Dr. Daniel Amen's clinics and trying to see if something was wrong with my brain, and it wasn't. My brain's fine. I'm like quick and everything. But when I started testosterone in March, I was like on top of the world. I was like,
Also,
yeah,
your pregnenolone.
when pregnenolone's high or low, when it's too
Yours was
low.
low. So pregnenolone is a neurohormone.
Okay, so I know the issue with pregnenolone.
It
Okay,
was
wait, hold on.
yeah, it was low.
Okay, we're gonna do this, and then I want to go. Okay, so the pregnenolone, part of my issue, why I couldn't take it, I was reminded, is because it increases my prolactin. I
Okay.
have high prolactin,
Yeah.
so that's why I hadn't taken it yet. I did. I got this thing called pregnenolone from her.
Mhm.
That is it a hormone?
Yeah.
Pregnenolone's a hormone.
Yeah, so pregnenolone is at the top of the cascade. You
Okay.
have your pregnenolone, your DHEA synthesizing into your testosterone, your estradiol, your cortisol, your aldosterone. So if you're low in your pregnenolone,
Mhm.
everything else typically will, lag.
I wonder if I should try it again. I kept getting a inconsistent high prolactin, and my boobs would get sore because prolactin is like what's released
Mhm.
or whatever when you're breastfeeding, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, I think you should
Um,
try it.
yeah,
And let's just keep an eye on your prolactin.
yeah, because a doctor I'd been to before that prescribed that was like pregnenolone is the unsung hero. It
Mhm.
is like the all star. Before I got on, she's like, I don't want to put you on testosterone until we try pregnenolone tablets, and then like uh, I guess it can kind of increase your testosterone naturally,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Mhm.
Okay, so maybe I will go back and do that.
Yeah.
I need to find where it's at. It's at my house somewhere, but I was like, I can't take it, so don't put it in my pill thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about exhaustion. Sleep. When estrogen goes down and progesterone. So when someone can't sleep, do you? Because for me, one of the first things I was put on, and I loved it, was progesterone.
Yep. Progesterone.
Okay,
Progesterone's involved with sleep regulation as well, anxiety, depression, irritability.
Mm.
Women who are in their 30s who are getting regular periods, everything else is fine. We can cycle that progesterone. If it's just, a progesterone issue, we just cycle it with their natural progesterone flow and their sleep improves.
Okay, this is interesting. So my progesterone, I'm supposed to cycle it,
Mhm.
right? Sorry, guys, you're literally getting
And
a
there's
full medical
I've
eval
cycled
on
I've
this
cycled people
podcast.
for doing a 21 day
Yeah.
and doing a 14 day.
Okay.
And I have people doing it all the way through and they feel just fine. There's no side effects from them doing that and they're still getting their periods regularly. They're like in their later 40s
Okay.
anyways.
So my periods, no HIPAA violation because I'm volunteering this information, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So my periods are very short. Like
Mhm.
1 month I might have 3 days. Like last month it was like a day and a half.
Yeah.
That's it. And so the progesterone was to be taken after my cycle ends. I don't remember why. Maybe your body naturally produces it when you're having your period. Is
Do you
that what it
mean
is?
when your period ends?
Yes. So
Okay.
yes, when my period ends, then I start taking my progesterone.
Right.
So it was like the back half of my cycle.
Mhm.
And then as soon as I start, I was to stop taking the progesterone. Is that because it's naturally higher in my body?
So
during that
you
time?
have your follicular phase
Yep.
on the first around
Yep.
14 days,
And you're feeling
right?
freaking amazing.
Day 1 through 5, that's the menstrual, right? Wait, 1
Okay.
through 5. Day 1 through 14, that's your follicular phase. Your progesterone is low then. It's low. And then the second half of the cycle, that's when your progesterone will increase and then drop
Am I
right
taking it on
before
the
your period.
wrong?
If you're taking it, no. So I do have people doing it that
Okay.
way too, starting on day 5 and then taking it for 21 days too.
Okay.
And it works just fine for what they need it to do.
Well, I've almost always been taking it all the way through because my
But
periods are so
that-
short.
But that might be why you're not having as much of a period
Okay, so
too.
wait, when should I start and stop?
You can try. So what were you taking it for? Were you taking it to help with sleep? Were you having any issues?
It was
with
just
it?
to balance my hormones. I actually sleep really well.
But you were never having any estrogen dominance, right? Were you?
I was having estrogen dominance back in the
With
day
your
when
heavy
I
periods.
started it.
Okay.
Um,
So that might be why. When you were having those heavy periods, that's probably when you had that estrogen dominance. That's
It
probably when you
was.
started that
it
progesterone too,
was.
to help balance that. But now that your estrogen's kind of going downwards, you may not need to take the progesterone like you were. Especially if you're still getting your periods. You are producing your own progesterone still.
Maybe we need to look at my labs and see if that progesterone needs to continue because it's 100, which I started with 50. Now 100 feels like a lot. I sleep really well.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So if someone's not back to sleep, if they're not sleeping well, progesterone could be something that they need supplemented.
Yes.
Just talk to Lauren. I think that at the end of the day, if you're not sleeping well, talk to Lauren. So we had to fix the cameras real quick. We're back. One of them turned off. But while we were fixing the cameras, Lauren just asked if I started the protocol that she gave me last time. And I said, no.
That's okay though. That's okay.
But part of it was because I was starting that naltrexone.
Yeah.
So I have, for you guys listening, I have like this chronic inflammation, which actually is the next thing on my list. So I think this is a good thing to go into. I have chronic inflammation in my body. Lauren's, helped me with my labs. Epstein-Barr continues to show up, which is something that I originally got in 2021. I told you my lymph nodes had been bigger. You were the third. One was a friend who's a provider, but she wasn't my provider. And another was another provider. You were the third person to say, have you thought of naltrexone for inflammation? And because inflammation, can you tell me, like, if inflammation's not addressed, what can it do to your body?
What can inflammation
Yeah,
do
like
to
how
your
can it
body?
negatively affect you?
It can affect all of the organs.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of a hard question, I guess, to go into.
I mean, it can like lead to disease and
chronic
stuff, right?
disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Chronic
so
diseases.
and so even though I feel like for the most part I felt fine, my labs, it's interesting. Some of the women say their labs look normal, but they don't feel normal. I feel the opposite. sometimes I'm like, I feel good and my labs don't always look normal. And that it drives me nuts when what your, if you're listening, our experience is compared to what the paper says when they don't line up, it's really frustrating. And so to like feel like I'm, my hormones are balanced and all these things, and eating well and for what I think,
Mhm.
and to constantly get labs back saying, oh, you're sick. I'm like, what the hell? This Epstein bar is not going away. And so, yeah, I started
And
on,
Epstein-Barr, you're going to have that antibody for basically forever,
yeah, but
right?
the
But
active one was
the
there, right?
IgM,
Yes.
that was flared, and it
Yeah.
was much higher than it was the last time you had your labs done.
And everyone always says to me, they're like, "Are you stressed?" I'm like, "Well, we're freaking human. Don't we like all live in a state of
Yeah.
stress?" I don't know. I mean, that's like a rhetorical question because I just feel like that's the thing that comes with being alive. But so Lauren prescribed naltrexone to me,
Right.
which actually is for something
So,
different.
low dose naltrexone, so naltrexone at high doses
Okay.
was for, patients who were on opioids coming off of opioids. So, at low doses, they found that it enhances endorphins and regulates the immune system and reduces inflammation. It hasn't been studied a whole lot when it comes to the Epstein-Barr virus.
Mm.
It's definitely been studied a lot with lupus, um, Hashimoto's
Okay.
especially.
Ooh, which
So the
thyroid's another thing.
antibodies with my patients who have Hashimoto are I haven't had anybody with increased antibodies. They keep going down with the antibodies.
What?
Mhm.
Okay, this is amazing. And interesting that you said it increases endorphins. I was actually researching it after because the first day I took it, I think I told you, I felt like out of my body. It was the weirdest thing. I
Yeah.
took it in the morning. You're like, did you
Yeah.
read the instructions? It says take before bed. And I'm like, no, I didn't.
But you're a little sensitive too to
Very
things, right?
sensitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
But the more I was researching, it actually says, you could correct me because this was Chat GPT. When I say research, it was telling me that it actually almost blunts the reward system. I was going back and forth with it because I'm like, I don't know if I want to take this.
did you put
It-
in low dose
yes, I
naltrexone
did.
or naltrexone?
I did low dose, but
Okay.
it says it can blunt the reward system in your brain,
Mhm.
which I'm like, well, is that going to mute me like an antidepressant? It said no, because it's totally different. It
Right.
actually has been proven or like studied to give people more meaningful like experiences in life
Mhm.
because you're not um it doesn't have you like again probably higher naltrexone, I don't know, but it says it doesn't have you like searching for it just I don't know. It says it doesn't have you searching for reward
It
based
halts
things. That
those kind of those opioid receptors.
interesting,
Yeah,
which is maybe the endorphin
mhm.
rush too.
Yeah.
So I actually feel great on it. What I
Okay,
the
good.
oh yeah, I feel
Good.
I'm on. So you ease into it, right? It's one
Right.
week on a quarter dose.
So, yeah, 1 to 2 weeks just until you
Yeah.
get used to that
Okay.
dose, and then you're gonna go up to half a
So I'm
dose.
at half right now.
Okay.
I'm halfway in between.
And
I
then
like
stay
pre-measured my
there until
pills.
you feel,
Okay.
good enough to go back up to that 3rd.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, the one thing I kind of like it though. So one of the side effects is lucid dreams that you had
Mhm.
told me.
Yeah.
I like get so excited to go to bed at night because I'm like,
Oh
what
my
am I gonna see
gosh.
tonight?
Oh
Like
my
it's
gosh.
literally like I don't know who's gonna visit me in my
Oh
dream
my
or what's
gosh.
gonna happen. I'm literally
That is
like excited.
hilarious. And, well, that's good because usually it's n for a lot of people, it's nightmares,
Oh,
right?
no, mine's
So
amazing. I
that's
mean,
good.
but it's
That's
like,
good.
so,
I
one was an old business partner and we were hashing stuff out and it's like always, it is almost always tied to like unresolved business in my life or unresolved something. So it kind of feels like I'm getting the gift of like resolution every night.
That's so funny.
But but one thing I was going to ask is because I have noticed this. Um, I think I need was gonna do some research to see if lucid dreaming is what stage it is, 1, 2, 3, or 4, because I don't know if I get as much deep sleep because I'm so busy dreaming all night. I'm like living a movie,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Does it affect your sleep in that way sometimes?
You know what? I'm not too sure. Do you have a ring?
I literally just ordered one.
An Aura ring?
Yes, last
I
night.
love it.
I did a story online. I was telling people about Beam. I started drinking this like Beam Dream Tea. Have you ever
Uh-huh.
heard of that stuff?
No.
Has like reishi, apinogen. exhaustion. I don't even know what you call it. L-theanine, um, GABA. It's just to help sleep. I started doing it because I'm like, I want to try and get into those deeper,
Mhm.
but I want to do yeah, I'm excited.
I love it.
Do you love it?
I
Do you have
love
it on
it.
now?
Yes.
Okay. What
I
size
love
did you
a
buy?
7.
Can I try that on?
Yeah, my
Not an ad,
fingers
you
are my
guys.
fingers are big though.
Okay. So,
So you probably need what are you gonna do? The
well,
middle finger? Or the pointer?
I don't know. I need to put nails back on because my nails look stubby without.
I think a lot of your they all look like a you have 2 fingers look like a 6.
They look, oh, yeah, this one probably. Why are my fingers so
You're so
tiny?
little. Mine are just sausages.
No, they're not. Yours. I need to put nails on before I get my Aura ring. That's all that I know. Because that looks
But
bad.
no, I love it for my sleep. I'm sleeping better and I'm making sure that I hit my activity goals.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and it updates too, so you don't get bored of it, when
Okay.
you're looking at the same app all the time, it updates and it tells you new insights and new things, and you can have your little friend circle. So me and all my nurse practitioner nurse friends, we all look at our stats
Really?
and
Okay.
we know when somebody has had a night out the night before.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, because their readiness
'Cause
score
the
is
numbers
just
don't
not
lie.
good. Yeah.
Okay, so when I get my ring, I'm gonna set it up
Mhm.
and I'm gonna share it with you, and you
Yeah.
can kind of help me figure out because maybe it is an naltrexone. But I will say, so I told you I had these lymph nodes back to the inflammation. They're like gone.
Mm,
Which is good. So
yeah.
I feel like something, and I feel like they just started reducing this last handful of
How long did you
days.
have it for, the lymph nodes that you felt?
Oh,
Is it
couple
just
years.
intermittent or is it all the time?
They get bigger intermittently, but
But you
they're
always feel it?
almost always there.
Yeah.
They were really bad the last couple of years. This
Mhm.
last year, they haven't been as bad.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is like the best. And because I always go up my right side, I can feel it more.
Mhm.
They're like tiny, like I can't even
And
feel them.
I mean, you're gonna feel the little
Oh,
bean,
mine are
but
usually like almost like little
inflamed.
beans, like
Yeah.
bigger ones. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, they're
But
it's
yeah,
feeling better
keep an
now.
eye on it because
Yay.
that's what I'm hoping that it'll do for you.
Yeah.
Reduce
Yeah.
inflammation.
Yes, this is also helpful. I feel like we're going so long. I feel like I need to have
I
you on
know.
again because what I want to get into real quick. One of the things, you guys, there are so many more questions, but this is such a good conversation. I'm so glad we did this. But one of the things I wanted to make sure we talked about, which we did last time, bummer, we lost that podcast. We have to do it again. But for me, I had explained to Lauren prior that one of the reasons I had not started my peptides, which for me is because if it's not so simple, we kind of touched on it, but peptides, GLP-1, the semaglutide, tirzepatide, retatrutide, those are peptides, but also some of the other ones she was mentioning for libido are peptides. Another stack that Lauren prescribed from or got from me was the CJC.
1295 and ipamorelin.
And what was that for again?
So that was one of the growth hormone releasing peptides, and that one specifically for you because it can increase hunger.
Which is great. So I
And
wanted
you
that.
wanted that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk much about peptides this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
The CJC and ipamorelin. The ipamorelin, if I understand right, did you say it increases growth?
Growth hormone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which
Yeah.
is like
Which
the fountain of
improves your
youth,
muscle
right?
mass. Yep. Yeah. So it's a good anti-aging stack.
Okay.
So muscle mass,
Okay.
quicker recovery time, post-workout, post-injury.
Mm.
That one is supposed to help a bit with sleep quality too, skin elasticity, bone density.
So maybe that's why I didn't want to start it actually was because I wanted to know
What
what
was
things were.
happening.
Yes. So I think I'm
Yeah.
going to do one at a time. So
Yeah.
maybe tonight I start that stack.
Mhm.
I wanted to know what each thing was doing.
CJC, ipamorelin, you're gonna start that one next.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wanted to see, yeah.
Maybe I'll start that. Because I would love something for sleep. I obviously would love something to increase my hunger. That's been an issue. I would love something for, I hate the word anti-aging, but aging well.
Mhm.
Like I want
Yeah.
that. So I'll start that one next. Then what was the other one you had gotten for me? It's been a while.
Wasn't it the oxytocin? No, it wasn't.
Was it
Oh,
copper?
was it?
No.
I think it was copper.
Yes. It
Mhm.
was glow.
Yeah.
It was glow.
Yeah. Mhm.
can you explain what glow is?
So the glow peptide is a combination of the copper. So the copper
Mm.
peptide, that's going to help with your hair, skin, nails. And the glow also has a BPC 157,
Okay.
helps with healing, helps with wounds, tendon, ligament healing,
Mm.
helps with inflammation. It helps with gut lining as well.
Okay.
And then the TB 500 within that as well. That one also is good for healing, tendon, ligament, wound, skin. And it also has a little bit of a growth hormone component,
Oh,
just a
amazing.
little bit,
Okay.
but so it does help a bit with muscle mass too.
So I love as I hear more about peptides, I'm excited. What I was saying is I'm going to do one at a time just to see how it affects me. And then but I'm loving that these peptides seem to be like there's a peptide for almost everything, like
Mm-hmm.
libido, exhaustion, weight loss,
Yeah.
skin, hair, nails,
Tanning.
healing, tanning.
Yeah.
Yes. Like if your skin doesn't tan, you could inject a peptide. What's
Yeah.
that? Melanotin?
Melanotan.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, melanotan,
Yeah.
melanotan too. Mm-hmm.
What? Like
Yeah.
what world do we live in? And I know one of the big questions is, and we did talk about it on a previous podcast, but just can you educate on the safety of
Mm-hmm.
peptides?
So there were a lot of peptides that were FDA approved,
Okay.
and there are still some of them that are FDA approved.
Okay.
Um, it all depends on where you're getting them from, of course, too. If you're being monitored,
Mm,
um, eventually there may be a couple of them that are going to become FDA approved, but
okay.
with any peptide or even hormones or bioidentical hormones, a lot of things are not FDA approved because there's not enough studies on them because there's no money to be made with it, right? And
Got
you
it.
can't patent something that's naturally occurring in your body. So that's
Oh,
a
that's
big reason that
okay.
things are
Got it.
not FDA approved, but
Well, I think that's why it's important that if anyone is interested in any, like if there's any part of what we talked about today that is something you're like, oh my gosh, I could use help in that, or I want more information. I think it's really important that you not just look up online, but you actually go to a reliable, trustworthy provider,
mhm.
like whether it's a doctor in your hometown, someone you know, but also not just any doctor, because not every doctor understands this stuff or was taught this. It's like stuff, like someone like you guys at New Level.
Yeah.
I love how forward thinking you guys are. And you guys are always finding the most cutting edge things. I love hearing from Denver, my brother who owns New Level, one of the owners. He always is telling me like the latest and the greatest. I'm like, what? It's so crazy. It's
Yeah.
awesome. And again, you guys, I'm going to put a link in the show notes and you can just go click and do a free telehealth appointment with one of their physicians or any of their providers, really. And then I do want to show though, because I was saying you have
Oh, yeah.
boxes over here. I wanted to
I
show for
have
anyone who's watching
treats.
how simple it is. Like when things like one of the things I love about New Level, not an ad, I'm just being honest. You can do a telehealth appointment on a Wednesday at 11 a.m. and your terzepatide could be to your door Thursday.
Mhm.
Isn't that nuts? No matter where you live, it's kind of crazy. So when they get it, they get a box like this.
So this is
What is
our
this?
peptide box.
Okay. So this is like what I would get
This is
my
what you would get if
copper
your
or
copper, yeah.
glow
Mhm.
or okay.
So you have your receipt that we give you, this beautiful instruction sheet on what you're getting,
Okay.
what your dose is, how to reconstitute it.
And
Um,
she walked me through this last time. It's not on camera this time, but like it's so simple. Basically, it says what's my injection regimen, and then um, they have preloaded boxes, and then they just mark the one that's for you. So either every day or 5 days on, 2 days off, every night or other. Then there's like a what's my dosage, and they X the proper dosage for you, and then there's a how many units do I inject each time. So it's so user friendly. It's like peptides for, I don't want to say dummies because no one's a dummy, but you know that whole, but
yeah.
it's like peptides for everyone. Like
Yeah.
it makes it simple. And then,
And if you have questions,
yeah.
just shoot us a text message. If you're unsure of something,
Okay.
we're always there to answer it right
So
away.
underneath this is the peptides with, can I show this to
Mhm.
the camera? There's this is the bacteriostatic water, right?
Mhm.
Peptides and alcohol pads.
Yeah.
This comes inside of here
Yeah.
with, what is this
So
needle?
that's your drawing needle.
They walk you through all of this. And look at on this card, there's like QR codes that you to what are they videos? Does it go to videos or
Yeah, so
instruction
on
things?
how to inject, how to reconstitute as well. So if you need to see it to be able to do
I
it,
am that person.
then
Yeah.
there it is. Yep.
And then underneath here, it looks like you guys do all of the injection
And
needles.
syringes.
So
Mhm.
everything you need is in a box.
Yeah, it's all in there.
I bought some peptides off of another site. It literally came with a bottle, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell to do with this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll never.
Because how would
not-
you know how to
You-
dose it? And
yeah.
until you've actually gone to like medical school, you
Yeah.
really don't know how to dose and reconstitute things
Yeah.
properly.
The thing I really like, I'm hoping you brought this. I don't know if you did. Did you bring tirzepatide?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yes.
this is like my favorite, you guys. And I only know I don't do tirzepatide, but I know because I know some of the I know how their little operation works there, and it's really cool. They hopefully this is how this box is. They preload the syringes for you so you don't have to think.
So I don't know if this one is.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Dang it. But usually they do. They
Yeah.
preload the
If we
syringes.
if they need us to pre-fill,
Okay.
then we'll definitely pre-fill. But some people like the
They like to do
control
their
of the
own.
vial. And sometimes if, they do come in standard doses like the 2.5, 5. But when you have a vial, you can titrate it a little bit tighter,
Okay.
to the 1 milligram if you're on a microdose or a 2 milligrams. So you can
Okay.
titrate it on your own when you have the vial on your own.
That's another thing we didn't even touch on is microdosing GLP-1s and 2s and 3s for like inflammation and stuff. Yeah. I mean, we could do a whole other thing. But I like this. So you essentially find your medication inside the silver package. Oh, so it's in there?
Yep.
Okay. So
You'll
let's
have,
look
this
at
is
that.
your QR code sheet
Ah,
for all of the things that we do.
they're
Peptides.
so good. And so this is a weekly belly fat injection. You just highlight,
So they're going to get
tell
this.
exactly how much to do. Okay. See, I have to see how things work or I can't do it. It's not for me.
Okay.
Okay.
It's going to come on ice pack. It's okay if it's melted.
Okay.
It still lasts 5 days when it's not on ice.
Okay.
Tirzepatide vial,
That's it.
and you're going to get your syringes.
So do you not reconstitute tirzepatide?
No,
with-
so it's
okay.
already reconstituted.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think
This says 10 milligrams.
Yeah. So that is a 10 milligram, which is
4 milliliters.
basically 1 ml.
Got it. And you don't need a drawing needle. You just draw with this.
Yeah, that
for
whole thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
This is so cool. Okay, so it is much simpler than you might think. It's definitely much simpler than I thought. A lot of people do struggle with analysis paralysis and like overthinking. So I love that you brought these so we can look at it. Yeah. Okay, this has been much longer than I anticipated because we just couldn't stop talking. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about all of
Yeah.
this stuff. And I hope
for having
everyone
me.
listening got some really good nuggets of information and really feel like through stories and Lauren's knowledge, that you were helped in a way that, just allows you to feel better as we are going through this crazy thing called life with transitions. Before we leave, is there anything you want, like if you were to, what do you think the average woman who's not average, you're above average and amazing, but what do you think that she needs to hear right now?
Remember what we talked about before. You need to be the CEO of your own healthcare, and you need to take control and ask the questions. Talk to a couple of different providers if you're unsure about one, because it's your body. It's the rest of your life, and that's all you have.
So good. So good. I think that's the best way to end this. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having
Yeah,
me. This is great.
Yes. And you guys, thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. And oh, wait, Lauren, how can they find you? How can they find you?
NuLevel Wellness, medspa.com.
NU, it's NU.
NuLevel Wellness, medspa.com. And you can book a consult through there. And you can find us on Instagram too.
Yeah. And don't forget $100 off if you say you came from me. Okay. Love you guys.